So we have already discussed the symmetry wave functions and antisymmetric wave functions of identical particles, and we already introduced the different statistical mechanics, namely BE statistics and FD statistics. And actually, based on symmetry wave functions and antisymmetric wave functions, this will be directly correlated with their spin of the particles or the spin of the system. Now finally we are going to have another interpretation for Pauli's exclusion principle, and for that you consider two particles and two states alpha and beta, two particle system, symbol system. Okay, consider two particle system, two particles 1 and 2, two fermions, two states alpha and beta. So you can, the wave function have two possibilities, psi 1 2. That is the meaning. What is the meaning? Particle 1 is in the alpha state, or I can call this capital psi 1 2 as small particle psi alpha in. Okay, first particle is in alpha state, and second particle is in beta state. Okay, so the product of psi alpha 1 and psi beta 2 is actually capital psi 1 2. Let us call it as capital psi 1 2 for the time being. Earlier this was small psi, but now we consider it as capital psi, which is a composite wave function of a system of particles. This is, first particle is in the alpha state, second particle is in the beta state. So this can be written as a product of psi alpha 1 and psi beta 2. Similarly, as psi alpha, second particle is in the alpha state, and second particle is in the alpha state, and first particle is in the beta state. That is psi 2 1. Okay. Now these are fermions, so we know that the wave function of the system is actually antisymmetric, and that is psi a. Psi a or psi minus psi a is, you can write it as, what was our earlier equation? Previous equation was this equation. I will show you now. So this was our earlier equation. Psi a 1 2 is 1 by root 2 psi 1 2 minus psi 2 1. This is the antisymmetric wave function. So you take the same equation, psi a 1 2 equal to 1 by root 2 psi of 1 2 minus psi of 2 1. That is the expression for antisymmetric wave function. Okay. Now this you can write it as 1 by root 2. This one, you can psi 1 2, you can write it as, this is actually capital psi. So psi small, psi alpha 1 psi beta 2 minus psi alpha 2 psi beta 1. Okay, so this is nothing but a determinant, you can write this one as a determinant. So this is actually 2 factorial, because this factorial is comes relevant becomes when you consider more than 3 particles, more than 2 particles, because if you consider 3 particles ABC, you will have more number of exchanges. Okay, 2 particle system we have only one exchange, but in 3 particle system it will be 3 factorial exchange operations are possible. So actually this becomes n factorial. So you put a factorial here. So 2 factorial. So this is actually a determinant 1 by 2 factorial. It is a determinant psi alpha 1, then psi this is actually psi alpha 1, psi beta 2, psi beta 2 minus psi alpha 2, then psi beta 1. So this is psi beta 1. Okay. So the antisymmetric wave function, you can write it as a determinant. And we know that in the case of a matrix or a determinant, if the 2 columns or 2 rows are identical, what happens to the matrix or determinant? 2 rows are identical, means
Determinant is 0.
determinant vanishes. Determinant is 0. Okay. So suppose you assume that we have 2 particles and 2 states alpha and beta. Now we assume that both particles occupy state alpha. We know we are checking. Assume that both particles are occupying state alpha. Then this determinant becomes psi alpha 1, psi alpha 2, then psi alpha 1, psi alpha 2. What happens? The rows becomes identical, so that psi A becomes 0. That is, if both the particles occupy same state, that will be alpha. The determinant vanishes because 2 rows are identical, so that psi A12 is 0. Antisymmetric wave function vanishes. This is the Pauli's exclusion principle. Okay. Pauli's exclusion principle. I have a friend, Pauli, his name is Pauli. So that is, I am frequently writing Y, but actually it is I. So Pauli's exclusion principle says that for particles with a half integral spin, it is not possible for the I will try take another pen. This is not. What is the Pauli's exclusion principle? Okay. So for the particles with a half integral spin, it is not possible for the 2 particles to occupy same state. What is the meaning? This everybody knows this idea. If two particles, in the case of fermions, if they occupy same state, that is not allowed. Such a wave function does not exist. Wave function vanishes means that state does not happen. So that means that is not allowed. Okay. So for two particles to occupy same state, not allowed in the case of fermions or spin half integral spin particles. Okay. Now you can generalize this idea to the case of n particles. Now consider n particles. Generalize to the case of n particles. So I can write psi antisymmetric wave function. How many particles? N particles. So 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n particles equal to 1 by root n factorial. I have already told this is n factorial. So psi a, here many exchanges will come. N factorial exchanges will come. So determinant. Now you have to write them separately. Each psi alpha 1, psi alpha 2, etc. psi alpha n. Now psi beta 1, psi beta 2, etc. psi beta n, etc. psi n, nth particle. Okay. No, not nth particle, nth state. So first particle, then psi n of second particle, etc. psi n of n. So determinant will be a n by n order. Okay. So this determinant is known as a special name which is known as Slater determinant. This is the name of a scientist, Slater. So Slater determinant. Okay. So in the case of Slater determinant, any determinant, if any two rows are identical, determinant vanishes, and which implies the Pauli's exclusion principle. Is the idea clear? So Pauli's exclusion principle can be interpreted in terms of Slater determinant. Now you consider I think the idea is clear. Now you consider the system of bosons. System of bosons. Okay. The wave function is, in that case you cannot write it as a determinant. So in that case you can write it as a symmetric wave function, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n particles. Okay. Again you can write this one as 1 by root n factorial. Then you can do many interchanges. Then you sum over that interchange, sum over p. Then let p acts on that psi alpha 1, psi beta 2, etc. psi n of n. See this p, I cannot write p12 because only in the case of two particle system I can write p12. Here p means you have many exchanges between these particles. Finally you sum over all the exchanges. That is the meaning. Again, normalization factor is n factorial. So this is the equation for a system of bosons. It is not a determinant. So this will not vanish even if two states are same. Okay, so this equation does not vanish even if alpha equal to beta or equal to gamma. Okay, or any two or more states are same or equal. Thus, there is no exclusion principle obeyed by the bosons. So, bosons can occupy same state for any number of particles. Okay, but fermions obey Pauli's exclusion principle. For bosons, this is the equation. You cannot write it as a determinant. So even if alpha and beta are same, this equation does not vanish. So bosons does not obey Pauli's exclusion principle. So this is another way of interpreting Pauli's exclusion principle. And next is an example of using these ideas. We can evaluate the example. We can evaluate the ground state of helium. Okay, helium atom, ground state of helium atom. So using these symmetry properties of identical particles, you can obtain a value of ground state of helium. And please understand that helium atom is comparatively a complex case. In no other way you will get the helium atom by simply solving Schrodinger equation. That is not easy. That you will learn in your next semester. Then also we have some other methods to find the ground state of helium. So normal quantum mechanics methods stops with the hydrogen atom. You cannot go to the higher atoms, very difficult. But using these symmetry properties, we will get some idea or some values for the ground state of the hydrogen atom. So we know that helium atom is 2He4. So consider the only 2 electrons outside the nucleus. So helium atom consists of 2 electrons. 2 electrons only, and they are fermions. Electrons are fermions. Total resulting wave function should be antisymmetric. Okay. But the wave function normally antisymmetric wave function, but wave function will have two parts. Psi wave function psi will have two parts. One is a space orbital part, plus spin part. Okay. Now we have to check whether the resultant wave function is how Either it is symmetric or antisymmetric depending upon the orbital part, symmetric or antisymmetric, on the spin part. Okay, so that I will continue in the next class.